Okay, today we are going to do language page 95. We are going to review for the test, which will be tomorrow. I'll make a study guide with you, and we have a lot to do. So fasten your seatbelts and let's go. All right, this first thing I have on the board right here has to do with what you're going to be doing on the test. Okay, so we are going to divide the sentence between the subject part and the predicate part. And then we're going to look at the predicate part and underline just the verb, and then we're going to look at the subject part and underline just the subject. The verb gets 2 lines, and the subject gets 1. Okay, we've been doing this. You've been very successful at it so far, so I hope you're paying attention. Let's read that first sentence. My family enjoys road trips. Chase, where am I going to divide it?
After my family.
Okay, just say the one word after the word family. Okay, after the word family, we're going to divide it. So there's your subject part, my family. There's the predicate part, enjoys road trips. So looking at the predicate part, Riley, what's the verb?
Enjoy.
Enjoys. That's what's the action verb. Enjoys. So underline it 2 times, like that. Right? Then you look at the subject part. Who enjoys? Family. Family enjoys. You do not want to include the word my, that's not the subject, just family is. Family enjoys, and there you're done. Let's look at the next one. The next one says, in art class, Sarah made a puppet. All right, so where would we divide that one?
After Sarah.
After Sarah. Some people get confused by the word class, but if you ask yourself, did the class do anything? No, the class didn't do anything. It was Sarah who did something, so Sarah did something. So in art class, Sarah is the subject part of the sentence. Made a puppet is the predicate part of the sentence. What would be the verb?
Sarah. No, made.
Made. Made. Who? That is the action. So made is the verb. Make sure you're underlining very neatly when you do so, okay? The whole entire word, but not. I have people that underline sloppily and they include the word Underline neatly. And don't forget to do it twice. I've had people that underline every single verb twice, and all of a sudden they get to one and they just underline it once. That would be wrong if you underline it once, because that's what you're telling me the subject is, right? And what would the subject be? Sarah. Because who made? Sarah. Sarah's the subject, and it gets 1 line. All right, so there'll be a section where you're doing sentences like that. They will not have verb phrases like what we started learning last week. They would just be simple verbs like this, okay? There'll be a quiz we're going to come up on at the end of the week where you're going to have verb phrases, all right? The next thing we're going to talk about is where you're going to have sentences. Now, I've made them orange. On your test, they're not going to be orange. They're going to be bold print, which just means they're going to be darker, like they made them blacker, all right? Bigger, bolder, okay? And if you're not sure when you're taking the test, just ask me. If you don't know which one's bold print, say, I don't know which one of these words is bold print. All right? So let's look at the first sentence. It says, many different people work at hospitals. And I forgot the period, so let's put the period there. All right? So the word different is the one that I've made be bold. I made it be orange because it's really hard for me to make bold print letters up here. It wastes too much marker. So, in the word different, is that a verb?
No.
I was going to go around the room. I think I was to Allison, wasn't I? Did you do one already?
No.
No, you didn't, so it would have been you. But anyway, no, it's not because he blurted it out. Let's just go with that. Different. Can you different? Is that something you can do? No. So, you would not bubble that one in. Okay? Go to the next one. Janitors work to keep hospitals clean. Is work a verb?
Yes.
Yes. So, you would... And you're just going to do it with your regular pencil. I just have my orange from already using up here, so I'm just going to bubble it into my orange. But you would just bubble it in with your regular pencil, okay? Let's read the next one. Doctors and nurses help the patients. Is help a verb?
Yes.
What'd you say?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it is. So bubble that one in, okay? Receptionist answered questions for people. Is answer a verb? Yes, it can be a noun, but in this case, it's what the receptionists are doing. Can you answer a question?
Yes.
You can. Are they talking about them doing it here? Yes, they are. So yes, it is a verb here. All right. All of the jobs are important. Jobs. Is jobs a verb?
No.
No, it's not. So you would not bubble that one in. All right, does that make sense? All right, not too hard. All right, so that's what you're going to do also on the test. The next thing we're going to look at is the section where we are going to do proofreader marks. So before I move the camera, let's just go and remind ourselves of these proofreader marks. All right, so you have 3 little lines to tell me that it should be capitalized. LC means it should be lowercase. The little insert mark is for inserting missing punctuation. SP above a word means it's spelled wrong. And this little mark means take it away. You won't be using this one on this test. Okay? So don't take anything away. And I can promise you if you do a delete mark on the test, I can promise you it will be wrong. All right, move the camera over here now so we can do this next. Sorry, I made you dizzy. All right, let's look at the first sentence. It says, Joe said, we went fishing yesterday. Where are we? Brantley, I think you're first for this section.
Insert quotation marks after the comma.
Yes, when you see Joe said, comma, you know it's a direct quotation. So after the comma, you need to insert. And make sure insert is low and the quotation mark should be high. And they should not be that big. So there's the beginning of the quotation. All right, Chase, now what?
LC above yesterday.
Yes, yesterday does not need to be capitalized. It's not the name of a day of a week. So LC above yesterday, very good. And what else? Riley?
Insert quotation marks after the period.
Yes, insert quotation marks after the period because that's the end of the quotation. Again, make sure your insert mark is very low like the period and the quotation mark should be high like your tall letters. Okay? Now let's look at the next one. It says, Dave, Ben, and Carl caught fish. Grant, what do I do first?
Insert a comma after D.
Yes, why? Everybody.
Words in a series.
Yes, insert a comma after day because that's words in a series. Now what else needs to be done?
Capitalize Ben.
Yes, Ben is also a name. It should have been capitalized just like Dave was and just like Carl was. Now what?
You stop putting commas.
Dave, comma, Ben,
Comma.
comma. You do need a comma after Ben. Then you get to stop putting commas. Okay, so Dave, comma, Ben, comma. After, when you see the word and, then you stop putting commas. You don't put any more commas after and. All right? What's next?
Insert a period.
Yes, insert a period because it is a, everybody, declarative sentence. We caught trout, bass, and carp. What do we do?
Capitalize B.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the sentence. Beginning of the sentence. Shouldn't be a question to it. It should just be capitalized we. Okay? Because you know you capitalize the beginning of the sentence. Now what?
Insert a comma after trout.
Yes, we have another words in a series. So insert a comma after trout. Georgia?
Insert a comma after bass.
Insert another comma after bass. Then you see the word and, so we can stop putting commas. And Elise?
Insert a period after carp.
Yes. Insert a period after carp. Do not forget those insert marks. You will lose a point if you forget them. For commas, for quotation marks, for the periods, all of them need an insert mark. Okay? Next sentence says, Mom said, I enjoyed the fish. Brantley.
Insert quotation marks after the comma.
That is sort of funny because that's what you ended up with
Yeah.
on the first sentence, wasn't it? But that's what you got, so there we go. All right, now what? Chase?
Capitalize the word I.
Yes, because it is the beginning of the direct quotation, you would capitalize it, but you also capitalize it just because it's the word I. So there's 2 reasons to capitalize the word I. Now what? Riley?
Insert quotation marks after fish.
Yes, and again, I think you ended up with that last time too, didn't you? All right, last one. Now we have put our fishing gear in boxes.
Capitalize the
Yes, capitalize the beginning of the sentence. Very good. All right. And Chloe, now we have put our fishing gear in boxes. See anything wrong? Jane, do you see anything wrong?
There's no
Leanna?
boxes as much.
Yes, guys. See that X? What does X tell you to do?
Yes.
Say the rule. CHSHS. X for Z. Add ES. So you should put SP above the word boxes because it is spelled wrong. That is not how to spell boxes. The X tells you to add ES. I already have a period, so we don't even need to fix that. Alright, so that is one of the sections on your test. Alright, the next section on your test, I have just a tiny bit because you guys have been doing so well on this section. I'm just going to review it a little tiny bit. And I'm going to move the camera over just a little bit so I can see it better. Alright, so this is having to do with present tense, past tense, and future tense. Alright, I'm showing you this particular word because you need to know something for this particular word. So everybody needs to sit up and pay attention right now. Alright? This is not the word from the test, but it is like one of the words on the test, and you have to do the same thing to the word on the test that you're going to do right here. Alright, so today, that's present tense, so today I hop. So you just simply write the word hop. Yesterday I hopped. Now this is the tricky part. It's the only tricky one on the test. You guys know that you're going to add an ED before the word hop. Do you know what you have to do before you add the ED? Yes.
You have to put in
Yes, you have to double the P before you add the ED. Because if you don't, then you're making this word. Is that the word hopped? No, that is the word hooped. Alright, so I would have to take up at least a spelling mistake if you don't double the P. When there's a word ending in a single consonant and it's a short sound, you double the consonant before adding a suffix beginning with a vowel. You should have already learned that in first grade and second grade, but I'm teaching it to you. We've had it in reading workbook pages. We've done it several times in reading workbook pages recently. So make sure you double the P. If it's a short sound and one consonant, double the consonant before you add the ED. And I promise you, you do need to know that on the test. There is one word that's going to be a short sound word, and it's going to have a single consonant, and you're going to need to double the consonant before you add the ED. But that is for past tense. Yesterday I, that's the one where you add ED. But tomorrow I will hop. So you're going to put the word hop, but you're going to put the word will in front of it. So you need to know that, okay? One more thing you'll have to do is making your subject and your verb agree. So if the subject is singular, you need to use the verb that, what? Has an S or an ES. If the subject is plural, then you use the verb that
Does not
does
have an
not have the S or ES. Alright, so your verb choices are here. Quote or quotes. That's the first one I'm going to do. And what you're going to be doing to this is underlining it twice on the test. Underlining it twice. Just making sure the camera can see it. Let's move it over a tiny bit more. Okay, there we go. Alright, so quote or quotes. This one I'm just going to say the sentence out loud. I don't have the whole sentence written up here because I didn't have room for everything. So, Johnny quote or quotes Psalm 23. Johnny, is Johnny singular or plural?
singular.
Singular. So we're going to say Johnny
Quotes.
quotes with the S. So Johnny is singular, so there's quotes. All right, the next one says, snowflakes fall or falls very quickly. Is snowflakes, don't try to say the answer, let's think it through. Snowflakes singular or plural?
Plural.
Plural, so we're gonna use
One without.
fall, the one without the S. Very good. Snowflakes fall. All right, what about this one? Our neighbors plant or plants a garden every year. Neighbors, is that singular or plural?
Plural.
Plural, so we're gonna say neighbors
Plant.
plant. Very good. Neighbors plant. All right, the next choice is gonna be cry or cries. My sister cry or cries when she has a wet diaper. Okay, sister, is it singular or plural? Singular, so we need to use cries. So underline cries 2 times. One more. Sally and Keith give or gives their old toys to charity. Sally and Keith give or gives their old toys to charity. So Sally and Keith, what would that be? Plural. So we're gonna go with give. Sally and Keith give, because 2 people means it's gonna be plural, so go with give. All right, very good. All right, now we're gonna go over what's not on the test, but what is on your paper for today. All right. So I'm gonna move the camera one more time. All right, so this is words that need a helper and words that don't. We're gonna start with present. The present form is sing. The past is sang. And the one that needs a helper is
Sung.
oh my gracious, I think we have a problem. Didn't we learn that the one that ends in an N needs a helper? Do any of these end in an N?
No.
So guess what? It's time to give you the other hint. There's only 2 hints. The first hint was the one that ends in an N is the one that needs a helper. The second hint is the one with a short U sound. Now I'm going to tell you short U sound because sometimes it's going to make the short U sound, but it's not going to be a U. It's going to be a different letter, but it's still going to sound like a short U. Alright, so some, the one that has a short U sound is the one that needs a helper. So you would say, right now I sing, yesterday I sang, I have sung many times. So use a helper. Then we have ring, that's present, rang, that's past, and this was the one that needs a helper again. It has a short U sound. Alright? Then we have the word go. Present is go, but in the past, yesterday I went, and I have gone many times. And you may say, but that one doesn't end in an N. But it does end in the N sound, right? Because is that E making a noise?
No.
No. So the last thing you hear in the word gone is an N. Do you hear the N last here? No. And does this one even have an N? No. So the word gone. Notice how it changed almost entirely from go to went to gone. At least you have the word go in the word gone.
Yeah.
Alright? So that's one you really have to get it memorized. I go, present tense. In the past I went, and I have gone many times. Alright, the last one we'll look at is freeze. That's present right now. Freeze. In the past it froze, and it has frozen many times. Alright? So that's what we're going to look at today. So everybody get your paper, 95, and let's look at the orange box. Alright? A helping verb helps the main verb show the action. What are the helping verbs again? Read them with me. And, is, are, was, were, has, had. The helping verb and action verb together are called a verb phrase. Notice how they underline the entire verb phrase. You are singing in the program, and they underline are singing twice, because that's the verb phrase. Alright, I'm not going to go over that box of words again, because those are the same ones we just went over on the board. But you need to make sure that you figure out which one you need to use, or whether there's a helper or not. and they've already underlined the helpers for you, right? Bells were, rang, or rung in the tall bell tower. Rung, the one with the U, the short U sound, rung, underline rung twice. People went or gone to see the parade. Went, because there's no helper. So you wanna go with went, gone is the one that needs a helper. A man with an ice cream cart rang or rung a small bell. Rang, because again, there's no helper, underline rang twice. God Bless America was sang or sung at the program.
Sung.
Why?
Helper.
You see that helper, so use the one with a short U sound. The students rang or rung the handbells. Rang, because again, there's no helper. The water in the pond has frozen. Frozen, because you see the helper, so pick the one with the N. We have went or gone skiing several times. Gone, because there's a helper, so use the one with the N sound, gone. Alright, now this time you have to write it in, and you again have to watch for the helper. They did not underline it this time, so I'm gonna have you underline it if there is one. Let's read the first one. We blank a new song in church last week. Deanna, oh, let's not blurt out. Okay, Brantley did this one. No more blurting out. We sang. No helper, so you sang. We sang. Last week is the past, so you want sang. George has blank to visit his grandfather in Toronto, Canada. Raise your hand. Allison? Gone. And why did you pick gone?
Because it has a helper.
It has a helper. What's the helper, everybody? Has. So underline has 2 times. Underline has 2 times, like I just told you to. The helper in that sentence. Number 2 said George has gone to visit his Go back to the beginning of the sentence. George has. Do you see the helper has? And write the word gone from the list of words. That's the one that fits there, and it has a helper, so use gone because it has a helper. Number 2, the orange juice pops have blank in the freezer.
Frozen.
Why frozen?
Cause have is a helping verb.
Yes, you have as your helping verb. So underline have twice, and write the word frozen. Underline have twice, because that's the helper. The little bell was blank to call the librarian. Did you already answer one? Okay, go ahead. Rung. Why did you choose rung?
Because it's a helping verb.
Yes, there's a helping verb. What is it?
Was.
Underline was twice, and write the word rung, the one with a short U sound. Alright, this time we're going to either underline the verb or the verb phrase twice. Okay? Let's read the first sentence together. Everybody. The wind has blown all day. Chloe, what's the verb or verb phrase? Has blown. Very good. So underline has blown twice. Huge snowflakes fly through the air. Dane. Verb or verb?
Snowflakes.
Verb or verb phrase. That's an action. Verb is an action.
Fly through.
Just, if it's not a helper, you don't want to be telling me 2 words.
Fly.
Fly. Just fly. That's not the kind of through that you can do. Okay? Through, like you threw something, is T-H-R-E-W. Okay? Dad had known that it would snow today. Allison. We're on number 3. Dad had known that it would snow today. Had known. Very good. Had is your helper. Known is your action verb. Had known. Underline it twice. The cold wind has frozen the water in our dog's water dish. Hunter.
Has frozen.
Has frozen. Very good. Has is your helper. Frozen is the action verb. Has frozen. My brother and I are watching the snow. Brantley. Are watching. Are is the helper. Watching is the action verb. Very good. Alright, now we're going to go and make up the study guide. pens out of the way. Alright, so at the top of your notebook paper, write study, language, write test, January 25th, which is tomorrow. Alright, you need to know verbs. You need to identify verbs. And we learned that verbs are words that usually show action. And in the back of your book, the definition for a verb is on page 200, so you can put page 200 after this. Alright, you're also gonna need to know verb tense. So that's past. Oh, let's start with present, I'm sorry. Present, past, and future. Present, past, and future. And let's just go ahead, by present, write the word hop. By past, write the word hopped. And by future, write will hop. But again, they remind you of that on page 200. Same page, 200. Alright, then you're gonna have subject, verb, agreement. And I keep hearing distress. Calm down. I'm not gonna erase till you're done. Right? I just need to keep going. Okay? So, just calm down. I promise you I will not erase it until you're done. Alright, subject verb agreement is on page 199. And that was what we were talking about, where the subject is singular, you use the verb that has the S or the ES. And if the subject is plural, you use the verb that does not have the S or ES. Okay? And we've practiced that many times. Okay? And then we have the subject predicate. And I'm going to draw the line to separate it. But underneath, I'm going to write subject and underline it once. And I'm going to write verb and underline it twice. That. So that's the subject and predicate part of the sentence. Place for the subject and they have a place for the predicate, and I can give you those page numbers, but they don't have a place where they're showing them underlining both at one time. Alright, so subject is page 199 and predicate is page 198. So let's just put page 198, 199 after that. Number 4 is your proofreader marks. Just remember, you're not going to use the delete one. just list them for you. Page 198. Alright, I've already told you about past, present, past, and future tense. And I've already told you about subject verb agreement. So that's it. That is it. And for the video people, if you're not done, you can pause the video.